if you're a guy and you're listening to us right now, and you would not date somebody of a different race, no matter how attractive they are, I think that's almost a pretty easy test for racism, right? Because I think almost every guy out there, most people see attractiveness before they see race, right? And so Meghan Markle, to me, the idea that Prince Harry would say, "Oh, I was a bigot before I dated Meghan Markle," I think it's ludicrous. He might have convinced himself of that, but to your point earlier in the show, this is a guy who was flying around and killing Taliban and seemed to be really a likable dude.
I think the Daily Mail is a pretty good news site overall, one of my favorites. But unfortunately, sometimes it is completely overtaken, as it is a British news tabloid.
I can't stop reading it, Buck.
With royal family stuff. So because Clay is our resident royal family expert, I just want to tell him there are a lot of news stories up right now about the royals. You've got Spare, the book by Prince Harry, former Prince Harry, the artist formerly known as Prince Harry.
Point.
Is that
he's been stricken from the royal register?
But here's a story for you that, you want to talk about clickbait. This is the quote, Harry's frostbitten penis isn't as rare as you might think. All you need to know about the bizarre injury after the prince confessed to using Elizabeth Arden cream to soothe pain from a 200-mile Arctic charity expedition. So, yeah, a lot of royal family stuff, including an important safety tip involving Elizabeth Arden cream, Clay. I was unaware of this.
I admittedly am clicking on stories like crazy because do you know how all these revelations are coming out? I'm embarrassed to even know this. So the book is embargoed, right? Like Prince Harry has written a book.
This is, just to be clear, that's from the book. That's an excerpt from the book they're talking about, yeah.
But it's not supposed to be out till Tuesday. I mean, they're treating this as a great state secret. Do you remember, did you read the Harry Potter books?
No, I actually did not, and I haven't seen the movies either.
All right, I've read all the Harry Potter books. I've seen all the movies. But as each of those would come out, it was a tremendous embargo, right? Like you weren't allowed to put those books out until midnight on the release date, and then they had release parties everywhere, and it was a big deal. So they have embargoed. People probably don't know this, but books are released on Tuesdays. All over the world, new books come out every Tuesday. And so the Prince Harry book is not coming out until Tuesday. Somebody in Spain, some bookstore in Spain, accidentally put the Prince Harry book translated into Spanish out on bookshelves, and people were able to buy it like a week early.
I'm amazed at how much you know about this, by the way. I didn't even check with him beforehand. He's so up on the royal family, it's amazing.
So they got translators to read the Prince Harry book and translate it for all of the British tabloids so that they could break all of the revelations. The biggest revelation, according to Prince Harry, is that he and William got into a physical fight and that William threw him to the ground over Meghan Markle. Which to me is kind of I read everything about that story. I didn't expect that Prince William was just out here throwing people around on the grounds. I mean, if I had said to you before this book came out, do you think that Prince William has been in a fight, physical altercation, in the last 5 years? I would have bet a lot of money the answer is no.
Well, then you have Prince Harry, who has told everyone in his book that when he was an Apache pilot in Afghanistan, he says he killed 25 Taliban fighters and that he viewed them as chess pieces to take off the board. A lot of people are
not
raising
happy about that
eyebrows
revelation.
At that revelation, too, just the whole putting out the number, talking about his view of the Taliban. I mean, look, I'm amazed that the royal family has persisted up to this point. I think it is a preposterous anachronism, and everyone should see it that way too. But it does get a lot. It does get a lot of media attention, and
you're watching The Crown right now. Come clean, and it's a pretty good show.
We've watched The Crown. The Crown is pretty good. Not gonna lie. Are we gonna have former Prince Harry on the show to talk about his book? I didn't even think about this.
Oh, I mean, if they reach out, the answer is 1,000,000,000% yes. I would be. I mean, Yes, we got to talk to. I don't think they'll try to get him on this show, but they should try to get him on this show. And I think our answer would have to be yes. You would say no to Prince Harry?
I think I'd have to say yes as well, just because
it is newsworthy.
This is going to be a story. This is one of these things where people just care a lot more about this than I can understand why they would care at this level. And that is absolutely the case with the Prince Harry memoir that's going to come out and the stories and the excerpts they're pulling.
Running an internet company, the amount of stories that people say, I don't care about that at all, and then you look at the data and they click, is everybody lies about what they actually like on the internet. Like, this is a good example for radio. Back in the day, they measure our audience with these PPMs, these personal people meters. They used to monitor, it's crazy, like in the early days when I first started in radio, you just had a booklet, and people would write down what they listened to. A diary. What they found was people claim that they listened to classical music way more than they actually did, right? People would say, oh, I listened to classical music because it made them feel better about themselves. A lot of people, everybody lies on social media about what they click on. People claim, for instance, at Outkick, we have, good-looking girl who's dating a quarterback. They're like, you go in the comments after every one of the stories, like, why does anybody care who the quarterback's dating? Their fingers break because they click on the story so quickly when something like that goes up. So the royal family, I feel, is similar to that in that it's a guilty pleasure that many people claim they have no interest in. I guarantee you the New York Post, one of its most read stories this week, even in America, will be Prince Harry revelations from their book.
I just think the Brits should spend more time trying to turn around the collapse of their once great civilization and stop being so accepting of the long, slow slide into mediocrity and irrelevancy they have as a country. I just feel like they could focus on some other things a little bit, because if you think that there are stories that dominate the news cycle here, you look at British media, obsessed with these people who do nothing, are worth nothing, and mean nothing. They're British royal family. They love it. It's crazy.
Buck, I got to study abroad in England. I love London. Right, it's one of my favorite places to go. Not like I've spent a ton of time in Europe, but I've been to London several times, and I studied abroad in London. One of my favorite things to do was buy every one of the British tabloids on like a Sunday and just chill and read all the craziness there. They are, one, brutal in their media, two, really, really funny.
I will at some point probably make myself a cup of tea, hang out with Carrie, and perhaps watch The Crown, which I will say is a very well-made show for what it is. It's good if you want to fall asleep too, which is great. It's very very civilized, and so you can just pass out while you're watching it. But Clay, you wanted to bring something up. You want to bring something to our attention here about what Harry says changed about him as a result of dating Meghan. They found each other on Instagram.
I didn't know that.
I mean, he saw her on Instagram and then had a mutual friend. What's up?
Did she slide into his DMs? Like, does he have open DMs?
No, he saw her. He saw her in a. Now, why do I know this? Damn it! Because I might have seen a little bit of the beginning of the Netflix documentary on this, but I was forced to watch it. I didn't
even know this
choice. Yeah, he saw her in an Instagram post and asked, I think, the mutual friend if she was single, and kind of took it off from there.
Okay, so he says he was a bigot, basically, until he started dating Meghan Markle. So Meghan Markle is, we played the Andrew Tate take back in the day, a couple weeks ago, whatever it was, where he points out something that I think is really quite clear. Most people would have no idea Meghan Markle was black unless she made a big deal about the fact that she was black. In other words, she's very light-skinned. She could be of any number of different racial backgrounds. So my thought on this in general is, and maybe I live under like a strange universe. I don't know, Buck. I'm curious what your experience would be with the guys that you know. I don't know in this day and age, people around our age. Now, of course, I represent Generation X, the generation that is saving America, and you represent the millennials, the generation that is destroying America. So that is worth factoring in here. I don't know a single guy I mean this honestly. I don't know one single guy that I am friends with or that I've even been acquaintances with that would refuse to date an incredibly attractive girl because of her racial background. In other words, smoking hot Asian, smoking hot white girl, smoking hot Hispanic, smoking hot black, mixture therein, whatever it might be. I think almost every man in America today sees attractiveness before they see race. Am I crazy? Like, Meghan Markle is good looking. I don't think, she's good looking and she might be of whatever background. Prince William's girl, Kate, good looking, right? There are a lot of good looking women out there. I see attractiveness before I see race. Am I crazy, or do you think most men do the same?
That's every normal guy views
right?
it, normal guy
so
views
the
it
idea
that, way,
he would say he's a bigot and that she somehow cured that, I just, like, if you, and by the way,
he wants social justice points. He's always trying to find some way to
so you
convince
think he's just
the public
lying
that
about
he's,
this.
But the other side of it too is, how many guys have you come across? This is something we don't talk about very much. Who were great guys, and they got mixed up with a lady, with a young woman, and all of a sudden they're no fun anymore.
Yep.
They are not entertaining to be around. They're not like themselves, and then you get into this thing of, is there a way you can save them from the destruction of this female accomplice who is with them all the time? I know plenty of guys. I've lost friends because their significant other made them so lame.
I know the feeling, and there probably, I don't know any, but there probably are a lot of girls that also, they get in a relationship and suddenly girls out there that used to be friends with them are like, you're awful now. Like, I hate your boyfriend or your husband. But I think the number one test is, to me, is an easy test. If you're a guy and you're listening to us right now and you would not date somebody of a different race, no matter how attractive they are, I think that's almost a pretty easy test for racism, right? Because I think almost every guy out there, most people see attractiveness before they see race, right? And so Meghan Markle, to me, the idea that Prince Harry would say, I was a bigot before I dated Meghan Markle, I think it's ludicrous. He might have convinced himself of that, but to your point earlier in the show, this is a guy who was flying around and killing Taliban and seemed to be really a likable dude, and he's just like
she's
kind of
ruined
awful
this guy
now. Yeah.
This is the situation.
He's given up everything for her, and in the process gotten worse, it seems, in every aspect of his life.
Didn't Yoko Ono break up the Beatles?
That's the story.
I mean, this is kind of like the Yoko Ono situation, except it's the destruction and the breakup of the British royal family. So in that sense, maybe she's doing everybody a service because the British royal family is absurd and Americans in particular shouldn't care about it.
I also saw, again, more revelations. Kate and William were big fans of Suits before he dated Meghan Markle. I don't know that I buy that either. Lots of lying.